to Inside the Musical Mind, and today I welcome with us the one and only Molly Diago. How are you doing today, Molly?
Good. Thank you so much for having me.
No, thank you very much. So obviously you've got your latest single a week or two ago. Someone just like you. How's everything going with it?
It's going good. The video I think is close to 250,000 views, which is exciting. Streaming, I think we're doing good. Honestly, I haven't been keeping track, but everybody seems happy, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, and it's a well done animated video. And I've got the name here, Jesse Bond. Is that
Jesse
right?
Bond, yeah,
Yeah.
he was really awesome dude. And honestly, he's been working on this video for years in the making, which was kind of cool.
Very cool. Well, it turned out great. The music itself, a nice. So the vocals are fantastic. It's got a great modern rock sound, and the guitar solo is a nice, like focused, great tone. It's concise, but it's I don't know how to describe it. It's forward, and it gives the impression that it's flashy, but it's not really. It's just I don't know. It's just well
Yeah,
done.
it was a nice little pocket solo, which I like. And I feel like you don't have to go wild to, really tie a bridge into a chorus. And I think it was, done well. So thank you so much.
Yeah, definitely. Now, as far as your own playing before your original music, I mean, you've played with a lot of big acts, All American Rejects, Pop Evil, um, Frankie Ballard. What I wanted to ask you is, you're playing your own stuff. When you get these opportunities to tour with these guys, what all is involved with that? I mean, it's got to be hard. Like, okay, is it learn this set list, or do you have some bands that are more prone to throwing in new things in a set list, or how does that work?
Yeah. So it's a lot of, trying to mold your sound to each genre. I think that was the hardest part, for me to be able to, play on all these cool bills. And really work out exactly what they're looking for. So I think every single one is for sure different. And I think having a good memory is important to be able to like learn things quickly and again mold to the sound that, they're sort of looking for. So it was very hard to maintain and also have a life, or do anything outside of it. So that's actually why I decided to start singing is so I could kind of be my own boss and sort of, I guess mold my schedule a little bit better and have, of course, also control over, what I was playing. So it was definitely fun when I was younger, but as I got older, I wanted again, I wanted to be the boss again. So I kind of went back to not back to, I didn't sing originally, but in my first band, I was kind of the boss. I arranged everything. So, again, to go from that to sort of having a lot of different responsibilities to back to this role, it just, it made sense, I guess, at the time of my life to, slow down a little bit.
Sure. And I'm sure that gave you some more, as far as working with other established acts, it gives you more exposure to people,
Mm.
experiences, that
Yeah,
kind of thing.
absolutely. Which is awesome. It's so fun. And the travel I got to do was a lot of fun. The people I got to meet, it was a lot of fun. All of it was great, and I just feel like it's weird because in the moment you're like, this is awesome. But then as you start to get older, and I mean I'm not that old or anything, but I don't know. Mentally, I feel like I aged a lot doing all that. And, eventually some people love it and that's all they want to do, eat, breathe, and, sleep it. I was not one of those people. So I was, enjoyed it while I could and then, took in all the experiences and kind of applied those experiences to, my career now.
Gotcha. Now, I remember from a previous interview of yours, I believe you played clarinet when you were young
Yeah, I did.
before you played guitar. And now you picked up a guitar fairly early, but did playing clarinet at that young of age, did it feel like it gave you any kind of foundation to learning guitar, or was that just brand new world, start over again?
It was start over. Yeah, like I knew how to read music because of the clarinet, which was great, but
Hmm.
even playing guitar, like honestly, I rarely do I look at sheet music to do anything. I'm super fortunate because I'm able to learn a lot of things by ear, which I mean, it would probably save me some time if I use the music, but also you get rusty after 20 years, so it definitely I know how to read sheet music, obviously, which is great. But the clarinet was I think short-lived. I think I did it for like, it was like the stereotypical like white girl, you play the clarinet or the flute in fourth or fifth grade. And as soon as I got my hands on a guitar, I never went back to clarinet.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, that makes sense. As far
Absolutely.
as being a guitar player, what do you look for? Like, what's your main guitar? Do you look for? I apologize. I'm going to kind of a gear territory here. Do you look for like a fixed bridge? Do you like a tremolo bar? Do you like humbuckers, single coils?
I like the humbuckers, of course, because they've never steered me wrong. And I mean, in terms of guitars, I have I have so many different different weapons in my arsenal. One that I have to shout out, of course, is Dean. I have
Mhm.
several Dean guitars that I love, and I try to experiment. And like, it's funny, when I was growing up, I had a lot of friends in the metal scene, so I was able to try like, a wide range of pickups. And I think they all have their place depending on what you're playing. But I guess I'm a humbucker girl
Sure.
from when I started even sound. But I see you have a nice piece hanging on the wall there. Do you play? Oh, you
Yeah,
got a
yeah.
few
I've got
on the
some
side, yeah.
electrics over here and my acoustic back there. That's an Ibanez, and then um, Kramer Steinberg, inexpensive bass just for recording, and another little headless thing that's actually a bit of a mongrel. Yeah,
I want to try a headless really bad, but I don't even know the mechanics of it. How does it work?
it is. I get it when everybody says they're ugly, but once you get used to it, it just makes mechanical sense.
I've never even got to hold one before.
It's balanced. There's no neck dive when you're playing it. This one's not even strapped up right now. For lap playing, of course, it's got this little thing, so it just sits on your leg, and then like that just folds down. And it's actually just so you
Oh.
just loosen it here, and the strings just pop out, and you just pull them off the headstock. So the only thing different is you have to buy double ball strings. They're balled on both ends. So
Oh,
you have
really? Oh, yeah. I guess that makes sense to hold them in.
so you
Oh,
have balls up
nice.
here, and then they're clamped down on the bridge.
That's actually sick.
Yeah,
Like,
and
such
it's
a beautiful
actually, I mean,
design.
I get it when people are like, oh, those are hideous, and I get that, but for just ease of use, they're just
It's down to the stripped down to the basics. Now, do you use those just to practice or
yeah. I don't gig. I just record my own stuff and play around the house. So, but that brings me to another thing. As somebody who records their own music, your stuff, like, oh, I apologize. Um, going back to like My Sweet Burning Heart and stuff, which has more of a Nashville production sound. Did you make a conscious effort because all your songs are very, very professionally mixed and recorded? Did you say from the get go, okay, whenever I release anything, there's going to be no demo phase here. I'm going to get this stuff mixed and produced properly.
Yeah, I've been really blessed to work with a lot of top level producers, or at least in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And I work with Chuck Ocasian on my first single, which has been since scrubbed from the internet accidentally. And my second single, Under the World, was Sahaj, from the band called Raw.
Mm-hmm.
And Sahaj produces a lot of acts, pop, rock, like he's a behind the scenes guy for a lot of different bands. And his like engineering level, his production level is like in the clouds. Like he's on the cutting edge of everything. So after I did 4 or 5 songs with him. Like it's really hard because my standards like went way up, you know.
Sure.
So like I can't put out anything that, I don't think is 100%. My Sweet Burning Heart was weird because it was actually didn't write the song. It was someone on the label wrote the song and had asked me to sing it, which I thought was a nice honor. And that's kind of how I got with this label also. So I was definitely excited to bring someone else's sort of dream or vision to light. And I thought, like I said, it was an honor, to be able to
Mm-hmm.
do that, but definitely not my realm of song style, I suppose. And the production on that was actually done by Miles Claiborne, who he's an up and coming guy, and he's actually the drummer for Saul, which is a rock band that's out there now. And he kind of is happy to bend genres, and I feel like that song does. Like it's a little poppy, it's a little,
Yeah.
naturally, little bit of rock, but definitely was an experience to say the least. But when I was learning to play guitar, I also sort of not simultaneously, but a few years in, learned my way around Pro Tools. And I mean, to be able to I did a demo every single day, so I know how bad something can sound, so again,
Right.
working with producers who understand, top level production, it's just it's just a different universe, and it sets your bar sort of, I guess, much higher, and I was much more critical, I think, after working with those guys, which, is a good thing and a bad thing, but yeah, I don't know, it comes and goes. But um, do you have a DAW of choice?
A dog of choice?
DAW, like recording software?
Oh, dog.
Yeah.
I asked because my dog's right here, and I wonder, it's like, can
No,
she
no,
see
no.
him? Um, well, I'm using just like the upgraded version of GarageBand. I need to go into Logic, which is very similar, but
Yeah,
that's the only one I've ever used, just
it's
because I had a Mac.
it's funny when I see people using Logic, I'm like, oh, is that GarageBand? Like they look almost, it looks, to me, it looks identical. I mean, as a Pro Tools person, but I think, and maybe you'd agree, like having the ability to actually record your ideas
Mm,
and, work with them and play with them. I think that's my favorite part about music, being able to actually create and save ideas and mesh
it's
ideas. I think it's awesome.
it's a
It's the
huge
best.
difference. Going from, I don't have the base version of GarageBand. From what I have to go to Logic, the main benefit would be more dedicated visual mixing boards
Yeah.
for your faders, which I have to do that with automation lines where I am. And you get used to it, but you're right. It's just an entirely different skill set. It's
For
got
sure.
it's a whole different science. And
Even the automation lines, those can be really tedious.
mhm,
And even in my Pro Tools journey, like when I was messing with automation lines, like I didn't really understand, like, I don't know, I think it's Elastic Audio in Pro Tools, or like being able to match those things. But so when I would make an adjustment, to the automation line, it almost like screwed up the whole song if I was wrong. So I
mhm.
know that it's super tedious to be able to set all that. So, but I mean, it's awesome to also learn that and experience it and kind of understand how it works. So I was super fortunate. I think I was like 14 or 15 when I started working with Pro Tools, and it's a game changer, both, for guitar playing and for songwriting. Love it.
Absolutely. Yeah, learning it as a tool, a DAW, is it's almost a whole nother art form, because you get to where you're like, it gives you an idea of like, wait, I can blend this by doing this, or that kind of thing. But yeah, it's definitely a whole new thing. And I'm old. I remember, you know, 30 years ago, 25 years ago, sitting in my room with a 4-track cassette trying to
I
lay
can't
down
imagine.
a
I
rhythm
cannot
track with no
imagine.
click. And then you do that 15 times, and you're trying to lay down a lead line
Oh,
over it. And
I
you know,
can't
you got this
imagine.
awful sounding cassette after just a whole day of effort.
That's I mean, it's memories you'll cherish forever. But
Sure.
just thinking about that too, I think is amazing. Like we don't understand even how just amazing this technology is,
Right.
like something as simple as a click, recording to a click, how much, easier life sort of gets. And I don't know, but I think a really big part of who I am musically is because I learned, how to use Pro Tools and how to make my own stuff. And even when I go on the road, like I always have the only reason I have a MacBook is for GarageBand, so I could record wherever I was. So I think that that's an awesome, awesome thing to have.
Definitely. Now that you just made the conscious decision to start singing and be the boss, do you think your trajectory will lead towards more of a concentration on being a lead vocalist, or will it be a dual guitar player, singer, songwriter
I
type thing?
think it's sad because I love the guitar so much, but I'd much rather focus, I think, on vocal performance at this point. And even like some of my last performances, like I was trying to do both, and it takes away from the performance for sure. And maybe one day I'll, start to layer guitar back in, but until I'm really confident and know what I'm doing 100%, being sort of a front person or a front woman of a band, like I don't, I'll play every night my band covers like Bon Jovi, Dead or Alive, and I love
Mhm.
that solo. So I whip out the guitar there, and I want to solos for my songs as well. But that's about it at the moment. Like I said, I got to work. I mean, people love seeing it, so I keep it in the show. But again, I feel like I need to work on my performance as a singer, before I can really get crazy, the guitar again.
Are you the type of person who, like, okay, I can't write something this complex of a line if I have to sing at the same time? Or are you pretty capable of,
Yes.
yeah,
Right now, yes. Hopefully one day that'll change. But that's the thing as a guitar player. And that's why, like, songwriting, I've had to rely a lot on really good producers, at least recently, to really get it because I was, as a guitar player being a songwriter, it's completely different than a singer being a songwriter, you know? So I always give myself, you know, a lot of riffs and it's heavy like riffage and a lot of like little solos and twerks and things here, which is great, you know, for any of us instrumental like metal rock fans, but it's not great, you know, for the commercial audience that's listening for a vocal
Right.
melody, you know, and it's
Right.
hard to sing over those things. So I had to tone it back a lot, I think. And I mean, I'm sure you probably experienced that too.
I would think it
Being
would
an
help you though.
instrumentalist.
I would think it would help you as far as writing songs as a singer because
It
coming
does.
from a guitar player background, at least you're coming into it with a okay, this is in C major and I'm doing this chord progression, as opposed to just blindly going, oh, I'll do this da 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 melody over something
Well,
without
you
knowing what it
know,
is.
it's funny because I can't imagine doing this without knowing an instrument. Like, I don't know how you would do it. Like, even piano or guitar. Like, I can't imagine how people songwrite without having that. So it definitely helps me there, but I feel like that's like a normal thing, you know, like how would one, I don't know. I can't even conceptualize not being able to sing over my own music of some sort, you know, at least to lead the melody. But maybe, I don't know, maybe that's a weird thing, but for sure it helps. And like I said, I don't know how people do it without, you know, having any instrumentation or being able to play along with yourself at least a little bit.
Sure. Now you're doing basically just lead. You're releasing singles at a time, which I think is smart because it's other than a sense of accomplishment. I'm not sure there's any advantage of releasing albums right now, as opposed to just like here's a single, because I don't know in this day and age how many people are deep diving into emerging artists. I want to hear track number 8. Does that make
Right.
sense? But
Yeah.
does that affect, like, are you gigging for these newer songs, or what are you doing?
Well, I was supposed to be gigging, but I broke my leg.
Mm,
I fell off a horse, which is fun.
that is fun.
So so that put a damper on things. But you know, I'm bad because I know the importance of gigging, but also like when everything is so driven by technology and people can listen to your song 55 times on their phone right now, whether it be through TikTok or Spotify or whatever, um, my I've become sort of very selective on what
Sure.
tours I'm doing because it just doesn't feel worth it. Like unless they're impactful shows, you know, whether it's monetary benefit or just getting yourself out there, I could do it from home, you know. So I do have some dates coming out over the summer, which I'm excited. I think we're gonna go to the southeast to start and make our way Midwest. But again, it's hard because with technology, my motivation for it has gone down for sure. Gigging, I love it, and there's nothing like it. But also, when you get older and you have a life outside of just music, which I'm actually a licensed attorney now as well, which
Yeah,
keeps
I knew that. Yeah, that's very cool.
things busy. And honestly, music is still my primary job, which I'm very lucky and fortunate. But to have all these other options, and I run a, I have my own nonprofit now. All this stuff, like again, gigging, like it has to be totally worth it for me, for to make me excited about it. You know, which I don't know if that's sad or just practical, but
I think it's
um,
practical. I
you
think
know,
one thing about you is you've gigged live, and
mm,
it's different than, like, I've had the same argument, like, oh, I just record at home and release stuff to and nobody listens.
yeah.
But
Well,
I think
but
it's
you
very
never know.
legitimate.
It
It's very
it only
legitimate this day
takes
and
one.
age to
Hmm.
go just audio, just internet. I think it's very legitimate, but you have the benefit of you've done both. So it's a little more authenticity on your part because you've actually done the live gigs to back that up. So I think that's perfectly valid to
Sure.
just release things and try to expand in the online universe, because that's
Yeah, absolutely.
you're
And like I
really
said,
going to be able to spread it way more than the 30 people are going to see you in a bar.
right, right. And so that's really just it. Like, you know, if I can get 250,000 hits on a YouTube video, number one, I would hope that that would also sort of boost, you know, merch sales and I mean payouts for these gigs, which will make it a little more enticing. But also drive audience to those shows, right?
Right.
So again, it's impactful shows, and, you know, doing festivals or, you know, larger tickets. As in my booking agent, I drive him nuts, but I'm just really, really, really like logical. Like I'm not going to go out there and I don't want to like, you know, lose money to go because
Sure.
some places are hit or miss, you know, some places it's a great night, even with, you know, the greatest bands in the world, you know, on the rock side of things. Like some markets just suck, and
Mhm.
I don't see the value necessarily in going to them unless they really want me there, you know.
Now, as far as singers, guitar players, who are some of your like all-time favorites? Like it could be inspirations as a kid or who you really look up to now.
Yeah, so for guitar players that sing or sometimes sing, Dave Matthews is one of my all-time favorites. I
Mhm.
think he's incredibly talented, everything he does, whether you can understand what he's saying or not, fabulous music. Bruce Springsteen, another one that's timeless and fabulous. Nuno Bettencourt is one of my favorites, of course, too.
Yeah.
He's, you know, not only is he gorgeous, but he's amazing.
And he still looks like he's 35.
I know it's ridiculous. And I
Yeah.
think he's like getting close to 60 if he's not
He,
there already.
no, he's got to be. I'm 52 and they were putting out albums when I was in, towards the end of
That's
high school.
crazy. That's
So
crazy to me.
he's got to be pushing it.
Hold on, now I have to know. He is
A badass.
he is a badass. Yeah, he's 58.
Yeah.
So man, I think that's wild. But those three guys are definitely some of my favorites. I had I was actually when I was young, I say young, this was like 10 years ago. I trained with Chris Caffrey, who is more of a not like well-known guitar player, but he played with Savatage and he's with the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. He's actually sort of the front man of the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, which is an awesome show. I know they do Philly every year.
Yeah.
Um,
I've seen
I
it
got
recently.
to work with him when I was, not first starting out, but I was still a new guitar player, and he really molded me as a player just because we got to work together. So he's just for what he did for me is also of course one of my favorites, and the Trans-Siberian Orchestra is one of my favorite bands actually, just because even before I knew him, the arena rock vibe out of Christmas music I think is amazing. Just the whole
It's such an
show,
amazing production.
it's fabulous. And that's why I started playing guitar. Was I saw Trans-Siberian Orchestra and I was like, I want to do that.
Hmm.
So anyway,
Well,
sorry,
him,
long
Chris,
answer.
and Joel Hoekstra on the East Coast,
Yep. And
Trans-Siberian.
Joel is the guy who has many projects. He does
I've
White
interviewed him
Snake,
about a
he's
few of
with
them.
Cher, like he's got his own solo thing,
Mhm. He's
which I
got
forgot what it was.
I've interviewed Joel a few times. Yeah, he does the share thing. He's got a side project called Joel Hoekstra's 13,
13, that's
which
right.
is
Yeah.
basically a solo album, but he has a lot of guys come in.
All types of
Um,
singers coming on it, right?
yeah, and of course the White Snake stuff. And but yeah, but with his stuff, him and Chris with Trans Siberian. Last time I saw them, they're like just phenomenal playing, and the stage
Right. But
show is just
Joel is wild though. Like the guy, like he must, and he didn't even really make it until I think he was in his late 30s. Like it took a while for him to get. I think he got Rock of Ages or something like that. But that must have been a guy who sat in his room and jammed, 8, 10 hours a day for 20 years because the things he can do are just, oh, it's amazing. I mean, Bettencourt was just born with it, but this
yeah.
guy, like, oh, I remember watching Joel for the first time. I was like, holy crap, like just incredible talent.
He that reminds me. Speaking of this, that Steinberger I showed you,
Hmm?
probably about 4 or 5 years ago, I interviewed him and he noticed it in the background. He goes, "Hey man, play that Steinberger real quick." And I was like, "You're fucking crazy."
You're asking me?
Yeah, if you think I'm playing for you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Joel's a
He's
cool
totally
dude.
laid back. He wouldn't, yeah. He just
He's
wanted
a
it.
cool dude. And,
Very nice guy.
I
Very
think
nice
so
guy.
too. Every time I've sort of chatted with him, he's been cool. But
So what is the schedule like when you're releasing these songs? Are you the type that has like, I've got 5 songs pretty much ready and I'm going to release them one every 3 months? Or are you basically releasing a song when it's finished? Like, do you have more in the can ready to go?
yeah, I did. I think I don't quite actually 100% understand my release schedule because I don't control it, but I thought that it was kind of going to be, every 3 months type of deal or every 8 weeks, whatever. But it's not how so far it's shooken out. And I think just because My Sweet Burning Heart, like there was a personal element to it for the label because again, somebody on the label, like and it wasn't like a songwriter for the label. It was like one of the owner had wrote the song and loved it. And I think it was doing well on DRT, which is like a digital radio chart. So I think they wanted to really ride it out until it was ready for a new song. And so 6 months later, I got to put this out and hopefully it won't be too much longer before I get another one, definitely before summer, if all goes well, or maybe late spring, something like that. But we have a lot more to go. I think there's 4 or 5, and then eventually it all leads into, some sort of EP. But whether they come out one at a time or all together, I really have no idea. But I'm excited to see what they come up with, and I'm sure whatever it is, will be for the best. It is what it is.
Very cool. Now, as far as social media and things, what are the best ways for those who don't already follow you to look? Where are you most active? Keep up with your music, that kind of
I
thing.
think Facebook and Instagram are the best, but we're on every single platform, where platforms are found, at MOLLYDAGO. Come say hi. Love to chat with people, meet people, and see what you're all about. And of course, stream the music anywhere music is streamed, I suppose. And we hope you like it.
Yeah, very good. Well, I'm definitely a fan. I've been checking out the stuff and I like it. And
Thank you.
like I said, it's very polished, very excuse me, it's got a great rock sound. It's just very well produced. Your voice is good. The guitar playing solid. The songwriting solid. So I'm
Thank you. Thank you.
definitely impressed, and I look forward to hearing more from you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
No problem. You're welcome back anytime. We can talk further adventures with you.
Cool. Sounds good.
All right. Thank you, Molly.
Thank you.
Bye.